Some athletes fight against time, others learn to move with it. Tonight, we explore four players who aged like wine, growing richer, deeper, more refined with every passing season. Close your eyes, breathe slowly, let these stories carry you to rest. There's something almost mythical about a skyhook arcing through the air, the way it floats, the way it's unstoppable. And for nearly 2 decades, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar perfected that shot, turning it into the most reliable weapon basketball has ever known. But his story isn't just about one signature move. It's about transformation, about adapting, about becoming something greater in your 30s than you were in your 20s. Ferdinand Lewis Alcindor Jr. arrived at UCLA in 1965. He was already 7 feet 2 inches tall, already dominant. Under coach John Wooden, he led the Bruins to 3 consecutive national championships, 88 wins, 2 losses, a level of college dominance that felt almost unfair. The young center was so good that the NCAA banned the dunk for 9 years, a rule many believed was created specifically to slow him down. It didn't matter. He developed the skyhook instead, a shot that would define his career. In 1969, he entered the NBA as the #1 pick for the Milwaukee Bucks. He changed his name to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, embracing his Muslim faith, and he changed the franchise immediately. His second season, 1970 to 1971, he averaged 31.7 points and 16 rebounds per game. He won his first MVP award. He led Milwaukee to their first and only championship. He was 23 years old, already complete, but something was restless inside him. Milwaukee was small. The winters were harsh. He felt isolated. After 6 seasons, including another MVP, he requested a trade. The Lakers acquired him in 1975 for 4 players. Los Angeles would become his home for the next 14 years. Those early Lakers seasons were challenging. The team wasn't built for championships yet. Kareem was in his late 20s, still explosive, still dominant. But the supporting cast wasn't there. He won 3 more MVP awards during those years: 1976, 1977, 1980. But the rings didn't come. Then everything changed in 1979. The Lakers drafted a point guard from Michigan State named Irvin Johnson. Magic, they called him. Young, effervescent, full of joy. The contrast with Kareem's reserved intensity was striking, but something clicked between them. Magic's creativity, Kareem's reliability. The Showtime Lakers were born. And here's where Kareem's aging like wine truly began. He was 32 years old when they won the 1980 championship. Most centers peak earlier, decline faster. The position demands too much physically. The constant banging, the vertical strain, the ground and pound nature of low-post basketball. Kareem adjusted. He relied less on athleticism, more on timing. The skyhook became even more essential. That beautiful, unblockable arc, released so high that no defender could reach it, perfected through thousands of repetitions. He changed his diet, became more mindful of recovery, studied yoga. This was the 1980s, when such practices were considered unusual for athletes. But Kareem understood something fundamental. Longevity requires adaptation. The Lakers won again in 1982. Kareem was 34. Then, 1985. Kareem was 37. That 1984 to 1985 season deserves special attention. Kareem was 37 years old, an age when most players are retired or riding the bench. He averaged 22 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. He shot 59% from the field. And in April of 1985, he was named the NBA's most valuable player. At 38 years old, the oldest MVP in league history, a record that still stands. Think about that for a moment. Not just competing at 38, not just contributing, but being the single most valuable player in the entire league. How? The skyhook, yes, but more than that. Basketball IQ that had accumulated over decades, positioning that required no wasted movement, an understanding of angles and timing that only comes with age. He rarely dunked anymore. Didn't need to. The game had slowed down for him, the way it does for truly elite players. He saw plays developing 3 passes ahead. He knew where his teammates would be before they knew themselves. The Lakers won championships in 1987 and 1988. Kareem was 40 and 41 years old. In that 1988 finals against Detroit, the bad boys Pistons, who brutalized opponents, Kareem was steady. Game 4, he scored 24 points and grabbed 11 rebounds. At 41, his final season, 1988 to 1989, was a farewell tour. Every arena celebrated him, standing ovations in cities that had booed him for years. Respect transcending rivalry. He retired at 42, 19 NBA seasons, 6 championships, 6 MVP awards, 19 All-Star selections. At the time, the all-time leading scorer with 38,387 points, a record that stood for nearly 4 decades. But the numbers don't capture the real story. The real story is how he became more valuable in his late 30s than most players ever become. How he understood that aging didn't mean declining, it meant evolving. His teammates spoke about his professionalism, his preparation. Magic Johnson once said that Kareem treated every practice like a championship game. That discipline, sustained over 20 years, created a player who improved with time. There's a photograph from his final game, April 14th, 1989, against Seattle. Kareem is wearing his goggles, those iconic goggles he'd worn since a corneal injury in 1974. His expression is serene, not sad, complete. He finished with 10 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, nothing spectacular. But he didn't need spectacular anymore. He'd already proven everything, 19 seasons of proving it. After retirement, he became an author, a cultural ambassador, a coach. He brought the same intellectual curiosity to those pursuits that he'd brought to basketball. Always learning, always evolving. The skyhook is gone now. No one shoots it anymore. It died with Kareem. Perhaps because it required such specific physical dimensions. Perhaps because it demanded patience to master, years of repetition that young players aren't willing to invest. Or perhaps because it was always more than a shot. It was a philosophy, sustainable, reliable, perfected through time, the physical embodiment of aging gracefully. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar showed that a player could reach their peak in their late 30s, not by fighting time, but by understanding it, by letting go of what youth demands and embracing what experience offers. Wisdom over explosion, craft over athleticism, precision over power. That's the beauty of aging like wine. You don't become something different. You become more fully yourself, concentrated, essential, refined down to what matters most. When you watch footage of 40-year-old Kareem, there's a calmness to his movement. No wasted energy. every step purposeful. The skyhook released with the same smooth motion it had 20 years earlier. Muscle memory so deep it transcended thought. He once said that the key to longevity was falling in love with the process, not the outcome. The daily work, the repetition, the small improvements that compound over years. In his final interview as a player, someone asked if he had any regrets. He smiled, shook his head, said he'd done exactly what he set out to do, played the game the right way, lasted as long as his body allowed, left it better than he found it. That night, let Kareem's patience settle over you. The understanding that some things get better with time, that growth doesn't stop at 30, that your best years might still be ahead, hidden in the future, waiting for you to evolve into them. The skyhook arcs through darkness, unstoppable, perfect, a shot that transcends time. If Kareem was wine, Tim Duncan was whiskey, smooth, understated, powerful in ways that only reveal themselves slowly. The greatest power forward of all time. That's what they call him now. Not the flashiest, not the most exciting, but the greatest. And his greatness deepened with age, like oak barrels adding complexity to something already complete. Timothy Theodore Duncan was born in the Virgin Islands. His first love was swimming. His older sister was an Olympic-level swimmer, and young Tim followed her path. He had the build for it, long limbs, broad shoulders, powerful legs. Then, Hurricane Hugo destroyed the island's only Olympic-sized pool in 1989. Tim was 13. Rather than swim in the ocean, where he feared sharks, he picked up a basketball. The sport that would define his life was his second choice. He grew, 7 feet tall by high school, dominant but raw. Wake Forest University recruited him, and he stayed all 4 years. This was unusual even then. Star players often left early for the NBA. But Duncan had promised his mother, who died of cancer the day before his 14th birthday, that he would graduate. He kept that promise. The San Antonio Spurs won the draft lottery in 1997. The ping-pong balls bounced their way. They selected Duncan first overall, paired him with David Robinson, the veteran center, the foundation for a dynasty. Duncan's rookie season was remarkable. 21 points, 12 rebounds, 2 blocks per game. Quiet dominance, no showboating, no trash talk, just fundamentally perfect basketball. The Spurs went from 59 losses the year before to 56 wins. By year 2, 1998 to 1999, the Spurs won the championship. Duncan averaged 21 points and 11 rebounds in the playoffs. Finals MVP, 23 years old. Robinson, the elder statesman, finally had his ring. Duncan was the reason. The early Duncan was athletic in ways people forget. He could run the floor, block shots from anywhere, finish above the rim with authority, combined with his fundamentals, that perfect bank shot, the footwork, the positioning. He was nearly unstoppable. More championships came. 2003, 2005. Duncan collected Finals MVP awards like some players collect technical fouls. His consistency was almost boring. 15 and 10, every night, every season, no drama. But then came 2000. Duncan injured his left knee, torn meniscus, the kind of injury that changes a player. He had surgery, missed the playoffs. The Spurs lost in the first round without him. When he returned for the 2000 to 2001 season, he was different, not worse, different. The explosive leaping, was diminished. The sprint back defense had slowed. His body had sent him a message: adapt or decline. So he adapted. Duncan was 24 years old, already thinking like a 34-year-old. He refined his post game, relied more on angles than athleticism. That signature bank shot, the most boring, reliable shot in basketball, became even more central. He studied film obsessively. Coach Greg Popovich would later say that Duncan saw the game in ways that couldn't be taught. The geometry of it, where every player should be, how plays developed 3 passes before they happened. His rebounding remained elite, because rebounding is about positioning, not jumping. He was always in the right place, always had inside leverage. Boxing out perfectly, fundamental. The mid-2000s were the Kobe and Shaq era, the LeBron emergence, the Steve Nash Phoenix Suns running teams off the court, pace and space, highlight plays, Sports Center, top 10. Duncan was none of that. He was the bank shot, the fundamental, the quiet 20 and 10. And he kept winning. 2003 championship, 2005 championship, both times finals MVP, both times doing it with craft rather than flash. But the real test came in his 30s. Most power forwards decline sharply after 30. The position is too demanding, too much banging, too many miles on the joints. Not Tim. The 2006 to 2007 season, Duncan was 30 years old. He averaged 20 points and 11 rebounds. He led the Spurs to their 4th championship, swept LeBron's Cavaliers in the finals. LeBron was 22, in his athletic prime. Duncan was 30, playing the smartest basketball of his career. Game 1 of that series, Duncan had 24 points, 13 rebounds, 5 blocks. Game 2, 21 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. The numbers were typical. The control was absolute. LeBron would later say that guarding Duncan was like being in a chess match. Every move calculated, every counter already anticipated. Age had made Duncan smarter, not slower. The 2007 to 2008 season brought more evolution. The NBA was changing, pace increasing, three-pointers becoming more valuable, traditional big men struggling to adapt. Duncan adapted. He improved his passing, became an elite facilitator from the high post. Young players cut off his passes, and he found them. No look, behind the back. Whatever worked. Defensively, he became a master of positioning rather than shot blocking. He didn't chase highlight blocks anymore. He didn't need to. He was always in the right place, forcing difficult shots, protecting the rim through presence rather than athleticism. The Spurs made the playoffs every year. Duncan's consistency was the foundation. Other stars came and went. Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, later Kawhi Leonard. But Duncan was the constant, the rock. 2013, Duncan was 37 years old. The Spurs made the finals against Miami. LeBron, Wade, Bosh, 3 superstars in their prime. The Spurs were 5 points away from winning Game 6 and the championship. They lost. Ray Allen hit one of the most famous shots in NBA history. Overtime, Miami won. Then Game 7, Miami won again. Duncan sat on the bench after Game 7, head down, devastated. At 37, he thought he'd just lost his last chance at a championship. He was wrong. The next season, 2013 to 2014, the Spurs got their rematch. Same opponent, same stakes. Duncan was 38 years old. This was supposed to be his decline year. Instead, the Spurs played the most beautiful basketball of the decade. Ball movement like water. Every player touching the ball. Duncan anchoring everything. Not scoring as much, 15 points per game, but controlling the game in ways that didn't show in box scores. The finals were a masterpiece. The Spurs won in 5 games. Duncan averaged 15 points, 10 rebounds. Workmanlike numbers for a transcendent performance. He'd won his 5th championship at age 38. After the final buzzer, cameras caught Duncan smiling, really smiling, the usually stoic legend letting joy break through. He'd proven that even after heartbreak, even after 37, growth was still possible. He played 2 more seasons, 39 and 40 years old, still averaging double-digit points and rebounds, still anchoring the defense, still making all-star teams, still making all NBA teams. His final season, 2015 to 2016, the Spurs won 67 games. Duncan averaged 9 points and 7 rebounds. Role player numbers, but the Spurs had the best record in the league. His presence still mattered. He retired quietly. No farewell tour, no announcement, just a simple thank you to San Antonio. 19 seasons, 5 championships, 15 All-NBA selections, all with one team. The most remarkable thing about Duncan's aging was how he shed parts of his game without losing effectiveness. The dunks went first, then the blocks, then the scoring volume. But he added passing, added leadership, added an almost psychic understanding of team defense. At 25, he was an athletic marvel with elite fundamentals. At 40, he was a fundamental master who barely needed to jump. Better might be the wrong word, but more complete, more refined. Absolutely. Greg Popovich once said that Duncan was the greatest player he ever coached because he never stopped learning, never thought he knew everything. At 38 years old, fresh off a championship, he was still in the gym, working on his free throws. That humility is rare. Most stars believe they've mastered the game. Duncan knew the game was bigger than him, so he kept studying, kept adapting, kept finding new ways to be valuable. There's a moment from his final season worth remembering. The Spurs were playing the Warriors, the team that would break the single-season wins record. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, youth and innovation. Duncan was 40 years old, limited minutes, but late in a close game, Popovich put him in. 1 possession. Curry tried to shoot over him. Duncan didn't jump, didn't need to, just stood there, arms up, perfect positioning. Curry missed. Duncan grabbed the rebound. Nothing flashy, nothing for the highlight reel, just perfect understanding of geometry, timing, and leverage. The accumulation of 19 years of wisdom compressed into 5 seconds of basketball. When you're trying to fall asleep, think about Duncan's patience, the way he let his game evolve naturally. Never fought against time, never tried to stay 25 forever. Just became the player each stage of his career required. At 25, be athletic. At 30, be smart. At 35, be crafty. At 40, be essential. The bank shot still works at any age. Boring, reliable, perfect. Tim Duncan aged like whiskey. Smooth, deep, better with every year. Now we arrive at something unprecedented. A player who hasn't just aged well, he's redefined what aging means in basketball. LeBron Raymond James, the chosen one. More than 2 decades into his career, still playing at an all-NBA level, still competing for championships, still doing things that shouldn't be possible. The story begins in Akron, Ohio. A kid too good for his age group. National magazine covers at 17. Pressure that would crush most people. He entered the NBA in 2003 at 18 years old. Expectations higher than any prospect in history. Cleveland drafted him first overall, their savior, their way out of decades of losing. He was immediately good. 20 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists per game as a teenager. Not just good. Historically good, those early Cleveland years were explosive. LeBron was 6 feet 9, 250 pounds, running like a guard, jumping out of the gym. The chase down block became his signature, sprinting the length of the court to swat shots from behind. Pure athleticism. Year by year, he improved. More refined post-game, better shooting, better leadership. By 2007, age 22, he carried a mediocre Cavs roster to the NBA Finals. They lost to Duncan Spurs, but LeBron had arrived. Still, something was missing. He couldn't win the championship in Cleveland. The supporting cast wasn't good enough. In 2010, he made the decision. Announced on live television that he was taking his talents to South Beach, Miami, joining Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. The backlash was severe. Cleveland felt betrayed. The country turned on him. At 25, LeBron was the most hated player in basketball. But Miami is where he learned to win. With Wade and Bosh, with coach Eric Spoelstra, he reached 4 straight finals, won 2 championships, 2012 and 2013. Those Miami years, ages 25 to 29, were probably his physical peak. He was a freight train, unstoppable in transition, the best defensive player in basketball when locked in. He could guard all 5 positions, run the offense, score 40 on any given night. The 2012 to 2013 season, age 27, he shot 56% from the field, won his 4th MVP, nearly averaged a triple-double in the finals. That was LeBron at his absolute apex. Speed, power, skill, and intelligence all maxed out. Then came the return to Cleveland in 2014. He was 29, past his absolute physical peak, but entering something more interesting. His basketball IQ was taking over. The game was slowing down for him. He saw plays before they happened. His passing became surgical. He could still explode to the rim, but he picked his spots, conserved energy, played smarter, not just harder. 2015 finals against Golden State. He lost, but averaged 35 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists, carrying the team on his back. At 30, 2016, the rematch, down 3 games to 1. No team had ever come back from that deficit in the finals. LeBron was 31. He averaged 33 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists over the final 3 games. Game 7, Cleveland, tied score. Iguodala on a fast break. LeBron sprinting from behind. The block, pinning the layup against the backboard. At 31 years old, still capable of the most athletic play of the series. They won Cleveland's first championship in any major sport since 1964. LeBron on his knees, crying. The kid from Akron had delivered on his promise. That should have been the beginning of his decline. 31, 14 seasons, 8 straight finals appearances. The mileage was absurd. Most players break down, not LeBron. He stayed in Cleveland for 2 more years, 2 more finals. Then in 2018, age 33, he moved to Los Angeles. The Lakers, young team, rebuilding project. And here's where the wine metaphor becomes perfect. Because from age 33 onward, LeBron hasn't declined. He's transformed. The explosion is less frequent now. He doesn't chase down blocks as much. His free throw attempts dropped because he attacks the rim less recklessly. 40-minute games became rare, but the playmaking, better than ever. The basketball IQ, transcendent. The leadership, refined through 2 decades of experience. The 2019 to 2020 season, age 35, LeBron led the Lakers to the championship. The bubble season, isolated in Orlando during a pandemic. He averaged 27 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists in the playoffs. Won Finals MVP at 35. He adapted his game completely. More post-ups, more mid-range, less relying on pure explosion. Pick-and-roll maestro. He became Magic Johnson in LeBron's body. A 6'9" point guard with perfect court vision. Watch him play now. At 38, 39 years old, he orchestrates a pass to the corner, weak side cut, pocket pass to a rolling big man. He's not trying to do everything anymore. He's making everyone better, easier. The 2022 to 2023 season, age 38, he broke Kareem's all-time scoring record, 38,387 points, then 38,388, then kept going. He didn't do it with volume scoring. He did it with longevity. 21 seasons of excellence, season after season of 25-plus points per game. The consistency more impressive than any single season. At 38, he averaged 28 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Made All-NBA third team. In year 21, most players are retired by year 15. The secret? Obsessive body maintenance. He spends over $1 million per year on his body. Cryotherapy, hyperbaric chambers, personal chefs, trainers, sleep optimization, every possible edge. But it's more than that. It's mental. He's never stopped studying the game, watches film constantly, understands what he can't do anymore and doesn't try, understands what he can still do and maximizes it. At 25, he beat you with speed. At 35, he beats you with chess moves you don't see coming 3 passes in advance. The 2023 to 2024 season, age 39, still averaging 25 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, still making game winners, still carrying teams in fourth quarters. There's a play from March 2024 worth remembering. Lakers versus Clippers. Close game. 2 minutes left. LeBron at the top of the key. The defense knows he's not as explosive. They sag off slightly. He pump fakes. The defender doesn't bite. So LeBron takes one dribble right. Jump shot. Swish. At 39 years old, he's comfortable being a jump shooter. The young LeBron would have attacked the rim. The old LeBron takes what the defense gives him. Efficiency, sustainability, evolution. His son, Bronny, entered the NBA in 2024. Father and son playing in the league simultaneously. Unprecedented. LeBron is old enough to be teammates with his own child and still good enough to be the better player. What makes LeBron's aging remarkable isn't just that he's still good, it's that he's still evolving, still finding new ways to impact games. His assist numbers are the highest of his career in his late 30s. His three-point shooting has improved. His post-game has become crafty. He's taken everything Kareem did, the longevity, the adaptation, the sustained excellence, and added modern sports science. Everything Duncan did, the humility, the willingness to change roles, the team-first mentality, and combined it with individual brilliance. The result is a player who might play into his 40s, who might reach 45,000 career points, who might redefine what's possible for human athletes. Critics say he's chasing stats now, playing too long, should retire while still good. But that misses the point. LeBron isn't playing to pad numbers. He's playing because he still loves it, still has something to prove to himself. At 18, he had to prove he belonged. At 25, he had to prove he could win. At 35, he had to prove he could still dominate. Now, approaching 40, he's proving that age itself is just another challenge to overcome. There will come a day when LeBron retires, when the legs finally give out, when the mind says yes, but the body says no. That day isn't here yet. Until then, he's writing a new chapter in the book of basketball aging, showing that with preparation, adaptation, and obsessive care, the decline can be postponed. Maybe not forever, but longer than anyone thought possible. Kareem showed you could be MVP at 38. Duncan showed you could win a championship at 38. LeBron is showing you can be a top 10 player in the league at 39. What's next? 40? 41? 42? Nobody knows. We're watching something that's never happened before. A player so good for so long that the normal rules don't seem to apply. As you drift towards sleep, let LeBron's persistence comfort you. The understanding that endings can be delayed, that with care and intelligence, we can extend our best years. That age doesn't have to mean decline. It can mean transformation instead, becoming a different version of excellence, trading explosion for wisdom, speed for precision, youth for craft, the chosen one, still choosing to play, still choosing to evolve, still choosing to show us what's possible when you refuse to accept limitations, aged like wine, complex, layered, better than anyone predicted. The final story is different. Not about a 7-footer's longevity or a physical specimen defying time. This is about a 6-foot point guard who was never the most athletic, never the strongest, but became the most intelligent. And intelligence, unlike athleticism, improves with age. Christopher Emmanuel Paul. CP3, the point guard, a player who turned aging into an art form. He arrived in the NBA in 2005, New Orleans Hornets, 4th overall pick, immediate impact, Rookie of the Year, 16 points and 8 assists per game. Quick, crafty, already a leader at 20 years old. Those early New Orleans years established him as special. The 2007 to 2008 season, age 22, he averaged 21 points and 11 assists, led the league in assists and steals, made All-NBA first team. The Hornets won 56 games. He was fast then, not explosive like Russell Westbrook, but quick. Lightning change of direction, could get into the paint at will. Mid-range game already elite. That pull-up jumper from the elbow, automatic. But then came the injuries, knee problems. 2009, separated shoulder. 2010, torn meniscus. The body was breaking down, and he was only 25. In 2011, he was traded to the Clippers. New beginning, paired with Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan. Lob City, highlight dunks, exciting basketball. But still, the injuries lingered. The athletic version of Chris Paul was already fading by his late 20s. Not gone, but diminished. the explosion was less. The blow-by drives harder to execute. His body was sending messages, so he started the transformation, became even more methodical, more calculated. Every possession a chess match. He didn't try to beat defenders with speed anymore. He beat them with angles, with timing, with making them guess wrong. The mid-range game became everything. That pull-up from 15 feet, defenders had to respect it, which opened passing lanes. He could hit it at 70% efficiency. Boring, reliable, perfect. But the Clippers years, 2011 to 2017, never resulted in a championship. Playoff heartbreak after playoff heartbreak. Second-round exits. The narrative became, Chris Paul couldn't win when it mattered. By 2017, age 32, many considered him past his prime. Good player, but the window was closing. The Clippers traded him to Houston. The Rockets. James Harden's team. For one season, it worked. 2017 to 2018. Paul was 32, 33. The Rockets won 65 games. Took the Warriors, the greatest team ever assembled, to 7 games in the Western Conference Finals. Then Paul got injured. Hamstring. Game 6. The Rockets lost Game 6 and 7 without him. Another crushing playoff failure. Another what if? Houston traded him the next summer. Oklahoma City. The Thunder were rebuilding. Paul was 34. His contract was considered one of the worst in the league. $38 million per year for a declining point guard. Everyone assumed he was done contending. The 2019 to 2020 season was supposed to be a farewell tour. Oklahoma City was tanking. Paul would mentor young players, put up decent numbers on a bad team, prepare for retirement. Instead, Paul staged a resurrection. He averaged 17 points and 6 assists. But more importantly, he led the Thunder to 44 wins and the playoffs. In the first round, they pushed Harden's Rockets to 7 games. Paul, at 34, was the best player in the series. Suddenly, teams wanted him again. Phoenix traded for him in 2020. The Suns were young. Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, talented but directionless. Paul, now 35, became the teacher. The 2020 to 2021 season was magical. The Suns won 51 games. Paul averaged 16 points and 8 assists. Efficient, steady. But the impact was bigger than numbers. Booker learned how to be a leader. Ayton learned defensive positioning. The whole team learned Paul's mid-range game, how to operate in the paint without explosion, how to make the simple play consistently. The playoffs were a revelation. The Suns made the finals. Chris Paul, at 36 years old, finally reached the NBA Finals, averaged 21 points in the first 3 rounds. The mid-range was automatic. The leadership was transcendent. They lost to Milwaukee in 6 games. Giannis was dominant. The Suns couldn't match his force. But Paul had proven something. At 36, he was still elite, still capable of leading a championship contender. The next season, 2021 to 2022, the Suns won 64 games, best record in the NBA. Paul was 36, 37, averaged 15 points and 10 assists. All NBA second team at 37, but the playoffs were heartbreak again. Blew a 3-1 lead against Dallas. Paul struggled. The age questions returned. Maybe this really was the end. Then came Golden State. The Warriors signed him in 2023. Age 38, backup point guard behind Steph Curry, reduced role, coming off the bench for the first time in his career. He accepted it, no ego, just wanting to win, to finally get the championship that had eluded him for 18 years. The Warriors won the 2022 championship. Paul was 37. He wasn't the finals MVP, wasn't even a starter. But he contributed veteran leadership, steady minutes, making the right play every possession. After the final buzzer, Paul held the trophy, finally, at 37, the longest wait for a first championship for any All-NBA player in history. Worth it? He smiled, nodded. Yes, the 2023 to 2024 season. Age 38, 39, still playing. San Antonio now. Mentoring Victor Wembanyama, the next generational talent. The cycle continuing. What makes Chris Paul's aging beautiful is the completeness of his transformation. At 25, he was a quick guard who could break you down off the dribble. At 39, he's a stationary assassin who breaks you down with shot selection and passing angles. He doesn't blow by defenders anymore. Doesn't need to. He gets to his spots through footwork, through making defenders guess. The mid-range is so reliable that defenders have to play up, which opens passing lanes. His assist-to-turnover ratio improved in his late 30s, better than it was in his 20s, because he sees the game slower now, doesn't try to force anything. Every pass has purpose. Watch him play now. He walks the ball up the court, no hurry, surveys the defense, calls out coverages, then attacks. One dribble into his spot, pull-up jumper, or dump-off pass to a cutter. Simple, effective, repeatable. Young point guards are faster, more athletic, can jump higher. But Paul is better, because basketball isn't about who's fastest. It's about who makes the fewest mistakes, who puts teammates in position to succeed, who controls the pace. At 39, Paul controls every possession he's in. The defense has to respect his mid-range, which means they can't help as aggressively. His teammates get cleaner looks. The offense flows smoother. He's become what coaches call a floor general, a term that sounds old-fashioned. But it's perfect for Paul. He commands the floor like a general commands troops. Everyone knows their role. Everyone executes. The young players he mentors, Booker in Phoenix, Wembanyama in San Antonio, talk about how much they learn. Not just basketball skills, but preparation, film study, body maintenance, how to extend careers. Paul still works out obsessively, still arrives early and stays late, still perfects that mid-range jumper thousands of times per week. Muscle memory so deep, it's automatic. There's a practice story from his Phoenix days. He was 36, working on free throws after practice. A reporter asked why. He was shooting 90% from the line. Why practice more? Paul looked confused by the question. Because I can get better, he said. At 36, after 15 seasons, still believing improvement was possible? That mindset is the secret. Not accepting that age means decline. Believing that different skills can improve even as others fade. Speed goes, but precision increases. Explosion goes, but timing improves. Paul will play until his body stops allowing it. Maybe 40, maybe 41. When he retires, he'll transition to coaching or broadcasting, teaching the game he's mastered. The point guard, never the most athletic, never the strongest. But through intelligence, craft, and relentless work, he became one of the greatest pure point guards in history. At 20, He was fast and smart. At 40, he is slow and wise. Which version is better? It doesn't matter. Both were excellent. Both were complete. The wine got richer. The flavor deepened. The sharpness mellowed into something smooth and complex. Chris Paul aged like the finest wine, not by staying the same, but by becoming something new, something better, suited to the moment, something that only time could create. As sleep pulls you under, remember his transformation, how he let go of speed without losing effectiveness, how he found new ways to dominate when the old ways faded. That's the lesson of aging, not fighting what's lost, but discovering what's gained. Wisdom, experience, understanding, patience. The mid-range jumper arcs through the air. Automatic, perfect. The result of 10,000 hours of practice. The result of letting go and learning to be something new. 4 players, 4 journeys, all teaching the same lesson. That time doesn't have to be the enemy, that with wisdom, adaptation, and patience, we can become better versions of ourselves. Not younger, better. Sleep now. Let their stories settle into your dreams. Let their persistence remind you that your best years might still be ahead. Aging, like wine, getting richer, deeper, more valuable with every passing season. Rest now. Tomorrow waits, and you, like them, are still growing, still evolving, still becoming. Good night.